just spoke earlier, just a little earlier, to the spokesperson of the CUPP and IPAC in the person of Ikenga Ugochinyere, who gave us an explosive conversation right here on Me Lord. Now we are moving on to a different person, a political analyst in the person of Austin Aigbe. Now, he has a whole different perspective to this conversation, and that's why we are having the show. Me Lord, we want to hear all the aspects, see all the aspects as we wait for tomorrow. Just a few hours from now, the case of CJN continues. Welcome, Austin.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. You said to me earlier that there's a bit of a media misrepresentation. We're saying the federal government is charging the CJN. However, it's just the executive attacking the judiciary. Both federal governments, so they are fighting themselves.
True.
But if we have this attitude, which is generally how Nigerians look at things, they are fighting themselves. They're probably not going to get involved, which is not what we want leading to the elections. We want people to be very involved in this electoral process. And what is happening, as many people have said, this is really all about the elections, and some have insinuated it has something to do with the constitution of the Elections Petitions Tribunal. Do you agree with that part at least?
50%?
Please let us hear exactly what you agree.
This is it. There is no better time when you have to do with corruption issue. If there are evidential fact put together, then it's a stronger evidence, right? Mm-hmm. So now you have evidence to suggest that the CJN did not report certain accounts which are foreign. It becomes suspicious. However, the money in the account is not an issue, so to say, because they are peanut, $10,000. That's chicken change for a high-level personality of a CJN. But what we're saying is that the process is not even the Senate. If there are issues with the CJN, the appropriate authority that should investigate is the NJC. That is the National Judicial Council, headed by the CJN.
So you don't think it can be fair?
So no, it's not being fair. It's not being fair. It's not the only person there. So you report, send your petition to the NJC, which is acknowledged. What this, the guys who apparently wrote the petition to EFCC and all of that, probably would have done a more dirty job, in my opinion. More dirty job, that kind of thing that is happening now. That is why there's misrepresentation of the fact.
Please, what's that dirty job they could have done?
The dirty job they would have done was to pass through that process. The process is that you develop your petition, send it to the NJC. If the NJC refuses to take it up, you can blow it.
And which is exactly what people are saying. They don't have the time. All of this is about the elections. And probably if they were going to do all of that, the elections would come and go. Which, as I said, are the suspicion of a lot of people who have been calling against this. That they are doing this at supersonic speed so that they are able to remove him before the election.
So what stopped the guys who put all of this evidence together to have submitted on Thursday, right? Give them a week, like this week, and then blow it? So what we say, I don't want to justify that it's all about election. It could be 50-60% all about the election.
But there is a 30-40%.
But the thing is, did the CJN miss that particular reportage?
Intentionally?
Yes. And they said, I forgot.
Okay, so somebody was here on the show and said there was no criminal intention. He's a lawyer. He's part of the judiciary. He said, what? The criminal intent is not there. So this is not a criminal case. It's a case of omission.
Actually, this is not a criminal case. You won't arrest the CJN.
Of course.
You can only remove him from office. It's not a criminal. I begin to wonder when people begin to make it like a corruption case, just like what the AGF did with the letter I wrote to the financial unit. That was it. It becomes more political when you see this kind of write-up that you're linking this kind of case to corruption, which it has no basis.
And that is why people feel
that is. I agree with all of the permutations. But I'm saying that number one, we should not make it look as if them versus us. It is them in the federal government.
They're fighting themselves like Nigerians.
Yes.
Say. But you see, here's the problem. Ikenga just left here a moments ago, and he would say to you, if you make it about them, if I should use those words, then Nigerians won't get involved in the polity. And they worry, the opposition worry that it could rob Nigerians of their votes, and of course they wouldn't get the leader they voted for. What are your thoughts on that?
So let me tell you something now. Justice Onnoghen is just one man that will form the executive, the Supreme Court that will determine the court cases. One man cannot decide an electoral process. So when issues around the electoral petition happen, there are 3 levels. There's a tribunal, there's an appeal, then a Supreme Court. So the tribunal would have been set up, certain decisions would have been made at the tribunal level, then it moved to the appeal court, certain decisions would have been made, then it goes to the Supreme Court. So in the Supreme Court, usually there are 5 members of panel who will decide, and each of these panel members come up with their own verdict for a process. So if there are 4 of them, only Onnoghen insists that the electoral process was rigged, and the other 4 says yes, then it's just what we call minority report. So looking at Onnoghen as the one man that will decide the electoral process is a non-entity.
So you're thinking that the opposition is blowing this way out of proportion? They're just using it for
political. It is good to hit up the polity.
But it really doesn't matter that much.
It doesn't really matter. But people will say, why now? Why now? Why now? Why not now? So the next question is, why not now? When is the right time to so I've actually analyzed this process.
Okay.
Looking at the guy who blew the issue, it had connection with President Muhammad Buhari. So again, that's the connection. You can't come to equity with your hands dirty. So this guy had been issued a diverted President Buhari previously when President Buhari signed up $1 billion and money, and the National Assembly was to take him up on it, and the guy begged the National Assembly to forgive President Buhari. So he already had that issue there. So that's probably why all of this is happening. If a different organization,
maybe independent,
maybe a nobody, maybe me, I blew that report, or I've taken that kind of report out and I've investigated and I got my facts ready, don't forget that Justice Onnoghen admitted to the fact that he forgot. He forgot. That is why he ended up reporting to. But I haven't forgotten the fact that it's not an issue in my opinion, because like we said now, it's not a criminal case at all. But it's again to eat up the polity. By the time the election is over, all of this goes under the carpet.
Interesting.
It just died natural death. So the whole idea is to eat up the polity. I begin to think that certain individuals sponsor those media advertorial just to keep the setting. Come on, blow the setting. Come on, blow the setting. Now we no longer
well, I can very much tell you that nobody is sponsoring us to hit up any polity. This is good. This is news. This is information.
No.
People
I'm not talking about the media. I'm not talking about the media now.
I'm
talking about sponsor. I'm talking about the petitioner.
I see.
Because, I mean, we are discussing the petition right here on the table.
Of course.
The guy is somewhere, sleeping somewhere, but we are discussing the effect of what he has done. So somebody may have, come on, we need to eat up the, so there are issues around the IGP.
All right.
So come up with something else that we eat up the, let's forget about the IGP.
All right.
And if you know what's happening, if you follow political precedent in this country, when a matter is on that may affect the government of the day, you see another matter come up immediately that supersedes the former. Then people's attentions
will move on a little bit. We're used to it.
In public administration, we call it divide and rule. So just sell up an idea. This issue is too much now in the setting. It may go against us, but what do we do? Let's just change the narrative in the system.
Do you think that something deeper could be happening right now leading to the elections, and what they want us to be seeing is this petition, or rather this case against the CJN? Do you believe there's a conspiracy theory? You brought that up, that maybe something else is bubbling under, but what they want us to see and keep our focus on is the CJN corruption charges and hearing.
Divide and rule, conspiracy theory, these are all possibilities. See, there are other issues. We need to focus on 16th of February. There's going to be a lot of deal happening on that day. There's going to be there's going to be smart card usage, and there's going to be all manner of process that will be done. So we are no longer focusing on enlightening people on the processes. Don't forget, there is no incidence form, but there's a new dimension of incidence form that people may not ordinarily focus on. Exactly. So we need to focus on the election. The issue. These are diversionary measure to keep us away from the election 16th of February.
And you're watching me, Lord, right here on Rootstv Nigeria. Another angle to this conversation. We may actually just be looking at a smoke screen with all of this hearing. Maybe there is something bigger bubbling under. And you're still right here on Milord on Rootstv Nigeria, and I am right here with Austin, Aigbe. He is a political analyst who's given us a lot to munch on, a lot to chew on, a lot to mourn on. According to him, there is so much more going on here than we are looking at. All right, let me give you an example. Remember when Hillary Clinton was running for the presidency, one of the things that brought her down was the fact that she sent personal emails from she sent official emails from her private account.
Yes.
And they investigated that thing so much. Few weeks to the elections, they came out and said probably she had done something wrong. Then few days to the elections, they said, oh no, really nothing happened. And that, to a large extent, many people believe cost her the presidency. Is it a possibility here? Now, here's the case. She hasn't really been charged. What she did is not exactly criminal, but of course it wasn't wrong. Do you think what happened to Hillary Clinton may be what's happening to the CJN right now?
But the CJN is not involved in politics. So
yes, of course, Clinton is not run. The CJN is not running, but he is very involved because people do believe he's going to be part of the Election Petitions Tribunal. So he's a serious instrument.
If you know the personality of the CJN, you won't say that.
We don't know him. We can't speak about him in based on his personality.
You look at
his office.
antecedent. You look at antecedent.
Okay.
It's very important to look at individuals based on what they bring to the table. The CJN is from the South, so there's a permutation that it could favor the South, which is basically dominated by PDP governors, and maybe obviously more PDP members in the South. Then you needed someone who could justify it enough. So now this is it. This CJN is a no-nonsense individual. He has never done, and I can't remember one specific case where it came up with a minority report. The minority report in 2011, yes, 2011 Supreme Court ruling, at the Supreme Court, I can't remember the case now, where it was between the current president, and Muhammad Buhari, where the court judgment was that Buhari had lost the process, right?
Of course.
Then Justice Onnoghen did the minority report saying that President Buhari was to win the election. So it doesn't really matter. This guy sees the law. But those who control the executive at this moment are skeptical because the guy is from the South. Because they think that he has connection with Governor Wike. And
that keeps coming up.
So that
keeps coming up. If this man is an upright man who has done right by the law all of these years, these permutations shouldn't even come up. It's like talking from two sides of the mouth. You're saying, oh, he's very just, and then next you're saying, but he's connected to Wike, so there's a possibility. That's why I didn't want to bring his personality to this matter.
I did not say it. I'm telling you permutation on the floor. So what is happening, for example, you see,
to remove that possibility.
Now, you see, the president's wife came a few weeks ago that there are two members of cabal controlling the government, and the husband said, "Who are those cabal? Mention them." So these are permutations, these are assumptions. So we are trying to do political calculation. So the ruling party is doing their own calculation in as much as the opposition is doing their own calculation. So what the opposition is doing right now is to align themselves with the CJN to look and say, we are supporting you, we fought for you.
Just in case
of tomorrow. So all of these are permutations. But I'm saying people are losing focus of
what really matters.
The core is we need to mobilize people for election. The core is that election may be ring in 2019. So on both ends, if you ring this election, CJN may help us. On the other end, if we ring this eleation, we don't need this CJN.
So
it's our permutation.
It's really just a math on the table.
It's mathematics.
It's really just a
what engineers will call
strategizing.
The X.
It's all about strategizing. And you know what? Here in the media, we'll keep talking about it because we want everybody to get involved in the electoral process. The reason we're having this conversation is that you have all of the facts. February 16th, if you have your PVC, I think it's a sin if you don't use it.
And just mind you, the CJN case will not fly.
You believe so too?
Will not fly. It died a natural death. It was blown.
You too?
He died, he died on the day it was blown.
You stay right here on Me Lord. Thank you so much, Austin Aigbe, for talking to us. You've given us different perspectives from what we have been talking about. I thoroughly enjoyed, having the other side of the coin with you.
That's what we do.
Of course. All right, you stay here on Rootstv Nigeria. Remember, I told you we have been covering this extensively. Go to rootstv.ng and check out our YouTube page to see the reports that we have done so far, so you can understand exactly what is going on here with the case against the CJN. My name is Gloria Oje, and Mod, you stay right here.